Yo, 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 what's going on, folks? Woo! I mean, we had some real action in the market. We've had some real action in the markets, that's for sure. I don't know what this tick is that came over here, but um, must just be some bad data. Um, Big day in the markets. We're right back to yearly highs. I don't really know what else to say, man. We have these dips and they just get bought up, and that's kind of where we're at. Um, Nasdaq, a big rip. IWM cleared all this resistance. I mean, you're just talking about a monster 3-day move. So, the market's a little bit extended, but as we know, these things kind of tend to go for a little bit longer than suspected. So, kind of how we've been doing it is like today is, if it's a regular stock, you're trying to long it. And if it's an oil stock or Russia, you're taking shorts on it and kind of trying to play things both ways. I'll tell you what, gap up days, I feel, are just the trickiest days to trade. There's so little upside left in the market. They're really, really hard to trade. So I was telling everybody in our chat room to just kind of stay out of the game if you can, because you just don't have that upside, and it makes for a little bit tricky trading, especially if you're trying to chase the gaps. And the stocks are already starting to get extended, because then what you have is that your patterns just won't move that clean. Let's take a look at the watch list. I got this FMD on a watch over here. You can see we got kind of 2 updates now. I think if this sucker can, I don't know what the news on this is. Let me see, but if this sucker makes one more big update, you're probably gonna get a nice little short in it. I mean, it's come straight up from 120. So whatever the news is obviously important, as you've seen the volume and stuff come in. But on a short-term basis, it's extended. So if you ever want to buy it, right, you got to really wait for a pullback or something. So I think a gap up or something along that end is going to give us some real juice in terms of getting a nice downside play. NBT. Yeah, I tried to short this one on seeing if it would break under 8. It's like God himself was holding this thing up. If we break under 8 tomorrow, it might be worth a shot. So I still got this on my watch list. This RUSS first day with the 20-day moving average tap. I mean, sweet, just absolutely sweet call in the chat room by Saeed today. When I got it, it was almost near 29. That's where I chose. But he was actually hitting this thing at the open almost, around 28. I was waiting for the break, and so we hit this thing over here. We were peeling out of our last shares here, 34.50. But this thing has probably got a little bit more upside. It could be just a dead cat bounce, but even the dead cat bounce can go for a while. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing in the 40s. So we're looking at kind of some of these Russia stocks to kind of short back the other way. CYBR finally peaked out of its trend line over here. So it looks like kind of a run back to 45. Cuba, I didn't see anything up with this stock just yet for us to do. I'm still waiting for it to spike, but if we can get it, we'll probably get a nice short in it. This SRNE still grinding. The volume's starting to decrease. So you can tell it's getting a little bit tired. We'll keep still watching for a crack some manner. Momo, finally, after 4 down days, we got some upside today. We'll look for some continuation. And then, I just got a basket of these kind of names that have been beaten down, like the SDRLs, BCIs. I don't have any bias against them long or short, but they're great movers right now. They could have potential more upside just because they're so beaten down. But this is also, they did all have a 20-25% bounce too. So, there is room back to the downside if the oil markets start to reverse. And oil did not bounce the last couple of days, even though these stocks did. So there is going to be, that coming into play also. I like the action on this fold. You got kind of a flag that's just developing over here. We'll keep an eye on this. This is a pretty tight pattern. Fold trade's a little bit thick, so you got to be, a little bit cognizant of making sure you don't chase it up too high. I got this newer. It tried to bounce today. It's still not holding. We'll see what happens with these bases. If it just keeps basing out, it's going to get a nice little run. HDP, after that IPO day, we just got 4 straight days of pullback. Looking for any type of reversal sign on this. For those of you guys that knows, right, there's a whole host of reversal patterns that we'll play to try to catch the bottoms on some of these bad boys. And then, I got a couple Chinese stocks on the watch list. Noah for the breakout pullback. And then, HCSH, after this big earnings run, has retraced a good chunk of it. So, we might just settle into this area and then probably start the bounce. And then, keep this RUSL on watch too, along with RUSS. They're just great traders. And then we have Juno, which will be an IPO tomorrow. IPOs, when the market is hot, usually these IPOs do good. But, today, I was expecting a little bit more out of this BLCM. I've been waiting for this one for a while. And, it gave us a decent pattern up here, but it had no follow through. Usually in the hot IPO market, this type of flag pattern, you really, really get a nice push. Instead, it just gave it all back. So probably part of it was just that it was over allotted. They let a little bit of too much supply on the market or whatever. But I was expecting a little bit more out of it. But I think these will be some decent traders here, along with some of the other IPOs. I'm just curious to see which ones keep the volume. Like Newer was an awesome trade for us the first day of the IPO. But, the liquidity's died out in it, where HTP has a little bit more liquidity. So we'll kind of keep an eye on those bad boys. So that's it for now, guys. We had an okay day trading. I started down like $1,500, and then, I made a comeback. I was up almost 2,000. Then I gave some of it back at the end. So I finished up about 1,300. It was this stupid BCI. I was telling my guys not to chase this turd at the open today, and lo and behold, I chased it, and I didn't lose $1,000 in one trade. That's a lot, but I lost it over a handful of entries in it, trying to long it. And then once I realized it was cracking, we start shorting all the oils and stuff like that as much as we could. So an okay day. I'm glad I made the comeback. I did still give back a little bit of profit, but I'm glad I made the comeback. I've been, green. The first 2 days we started Bull's Vision, I lost like $1,500 each day, and I was mortified because, I had my platform up during the day. And then every day since then, I've been green, and I've been pretty steady. And, today I was glad I was able to make a comeback because I did not like my process in the morning. So irregardless of where I finished, I wish I had made more money, but I'm glad I made the comeback. It's shown that at least I'm being pretty resilient at catching my mistakes. So that's it for now, guys. I will see everybody in a little bit in the chat room tomorrow. Take care.